gents who may be in the house as well. This is Deborah Cooper. Welcome to Tough Topic Thursday here on the Debsterism channel. We get together every Thursday and we try to work our way through some really tough issues, some controversial stuff that a lot of people just really don't like to talk about. So today's topic is going to be, we're going to be delving into what makes people want to stay in situations where they are struggling, and not only stay in them, but some women actually go out and find these kind of situations. And if they don't have that situation, they will create that situation. Now, I know a lot of people are like, who wants to hurt? Who wants to, feel bad and upset inside? You have to realize, I've noticed this, and this is where this is something I've been sitting on for over a year, this topic, but I finally decided to do it today. Now that we're doing tough topics on Thursdays, I'm like, yeah, let's just get this out the way. I guess a year or so ago, a couple of years ago anyway, I was spending a lot more time at that time on Facebook before they started putting my ass in Facebook jail all the time. And, I was in like a lot of these groups, like, supposed to be like Black women empowerment groups and, all this kind of stuff. And, I was networking with these sisters that's, supposed to be about this BWE and all this stuff. And I noticed a very disturbing trend. There was a lot of focus on colorism. Now, I'm not saying it's not a real thing. But what I'm saying is, when you have, this is my approach. Okay, you see something that's an issue. You know that it's a social issue. You know that it's a worldwide issue. You know that there's not too much you can do to change it by yourself. It's not going to change no time soon. The only thing you have power to change is your reaction to it. Okay, so that's where my focus was. It was on self-empowerment. Because, just because somebody says these things and they act this way or they think it's this, what does that have to do with you? You see what I'm saying? You are the one who determines who you are and how you feel and all this kind of stuff. But I noticed this very disturbing trend. They would get into these groups. Okay, now, like I said, this is supposed to be about empowerment. Okay, to me, empowerment means taking charge, making change, ruling your shit, owning shit, all this kind of stuff. And when I was in these groups, like, what they would do is, like, somebody would go out on the internet. Now, they had to be looking for this shit. They go on the internet and they find something that some knucklehead knick-knock said about Black women or dark-skinned women or women with a certain type of hair or, whatever it was. It could be, overweight women, whatever, baby mama, whatever it was, they would find something, okay? And then what they would do is they would bring that back. Okay, now where it was, you was the only one that saw it. Okay, you were the only one that had emotion behind it. But what they would do is bring that into a group or share it on their wall and tag people. And then they would all get together and have this major pity party of angst and pain and agony. It's like they were reliving their childhood or the first time someone said this to them over and over and over again. It was like this unending thing. And if you tried to break that pattern, if you pointed out to them that this is what they were doing and how self-defeating it was and how they weren't doing anything but not only hurting themselves, but bringing this shit to some knucklehead knick-knock said that could have died over there, right? Nobody saw it but you. But they would bring it and make sure that all these women saw it, right? So everybody was hurting then. They wanted you to hurt just like they were hurting. Then those women would take it and spread it even further. And everybody's comments were like, oh my God, look how they feel about us. Look what they're doing to us. Look what they say about us. They only like white women. They only like, skinny women. They only like young women. So whatever they weren't, that's what they would focus on. I tell you, I have never seen so many crazy hoes in my life. And it's like it's thousands of them. And they would sit up there and they're spreading this stuff and just having like this agony, angst party on social media. It was I couldn't do it. I left all them groups. I left all of them because that was some crazy shit I had never seen. No shit like that. And it's supposed to be you're supposed to be trying to empower yourself, but this is how you're doing it. Deb could not hang. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So that, was kind of like the beginning for me, of seeing this, because I'd never seriously, as old as I am, seen any women behave like that, where there's thousands of them getting it together to, not only hurt themselves some more, but to make other women hurt just like they were hurting. I was like, this is some sick, twisted shit. I never understood what that mentality was. But they seem to really thrive on it. And then they try to bring that shit over here. I shut that shit down real quick. It's like, nah, we ain't gonna don't even come here with that, because I'm gonna hurt every feeling you ever had since birth. Don't come here with that shit. Because one thing is like, I'm not into this pain porn thing. So it's like, you come here, you might be hurting, but we're not gonna focus on the hurt. We're gonna focus on alleviating the hurt. And see, that was the difference between me and those groups, and that's why I felt like, okay, this, I don't need to be over here, because they want to just wallow in some shit, pig shit, and Deb is about, getting yourself up off the shit and moving on. But they wanted to stay stuck in that, so I like, okay, this is something new I've never seen before, but we just gonna leave this alone. And this is true, like someone earlier just pointed out, it's like they live to be miserable, and that is exactly why we're going to talk about this tonight, because that is what it is. They want, like, if you're having a nice day and you want to feel good about yourself and stuff, you can't if you have these kind of associates around you, because they're going to make sure that you feel miserable and hurt and are upset and angry and depressed and sad and all kinds of stuff, just like they are. That is some sick mentality I just don't get. It's the same mentality that when women will see you in a situation where you like in a relationship that's bringing you down, right? And men do the same shit. You in a situation where men are, somebody's bringing you down, and you're crying, you're upset, girl, you need to stay with that man. It's hard out here being single, girl. It's better to have somebody than to not have somebody, girl. You need to just work with him. You need to try harder, girl. You need to make it work. Okay, that's the same mentality. They're trying to keep you in that nonsense instead of helping you lift yourself up and out of it. Oh yes, honey, I'd throw a bomb. I was like atomic blast and that shit. It's like, don't bring that stuff here. A lot of people were mad. I lost a lot of followers after that little exchange. So several hundred women left the channel all at once, but that's fine. Some of them I noticed found their way back, but it was the kind of thing where I could not see. That's, to me, is a violation of my morals and my principles. I have a certain way that I live my life, a certain pattern, a certain way that I interact with women, certain goals for myself, and I also have those for you. Now, for me to deviate from that and to go into that kind of nonsense would mean that I'm not walking my walk, and neither am I going to be the leader for you that you need me to be. I'm trying to lead you up out of that shit. So what would I look like if I'm going, participating in it over there with them? That's sending a mixed message, and I don't do that. I walk one road. That's it. I've been on the same road. I can't even tell you how long. And that's what people say about me, is the one thing they can say about Deborah is I am consistent. Okay, you may not understand how it plays out, but my messages are all the same. So what is it that makes people do that? Another time, okay, this is way before I even got on. So, I don't even know if social media was invented and stuff yet. This is way when I was in college in the 80s. And I had this boyfriend, right? So this must have been, I don't know, maybe 88 or so. I had this boyfriend. And this fool, I told you guys a story, but for those who are new, I'm going to relate it to this topic, because this was the first time I had experienced this. And then later when I saw these women doing it in mass, it clicked that they had the same mentality. So we called ourselves living together, right? And for a hot minute, that didn't work out too well. But he had this little chair that he used to sit in, this little green chair. And he used to sit, I used to joke and call it his throne, right? So he used to sit in that chair in the dark in the living room, just the moonlight, starlights, whatever, coming in through the window. And he would sit there and he would get himself worked up into a state of negativity, rage, and all kind of horrible emotions based on shit that happened to him when he was 8, 10, 12, 7, whatever, years ago, years old. And I used to sit there and look at him, and at first you'd be like, oh, well, this must be something I need to know. As the new girlfriend, you try to figure it out, right? What's going on? What does this mean, kind of thing. Well, after a few sessions of that, I was like, oh, please, let me leave you to your misery, and I'm up. So I would get up, get out, go out that door, get in my car, and go somewhere fun. And let him just be there having his misery party by himself. I couldn't do that. So then, he would get snapped out of it eventually, and then he'd be normal. The time that made us break up, though, was when I got a new car. Now, by then, we weren't living together. I decided we didn't need to live together, but we were still dating. And so I got a new car because I got this big bonus at the job I used to work at. And I went out and got myself a new car. And so I'm driving. I put the little bra and the stripes and the shit on it. I mean, it was cute. And so went over to show him my new car. And so we went somewhere in the car. We on our way back. And you know how apartments have those where you park under it? So they have like those big cement tower support pole doohickeys. And so we're driving. And all of a sudden, because I'm going through the parking lot, right? And these cement things, and there's a wall over here. So you only could, he grabs the steering wheel of my car and starts trying to turn it into those cement post thingies. Honey, I hit my brakes. I turned that wheel back because I stopped the car, because if I had kept it going, we would have smashed into the thing. But I hit the brakes. And then I sit there and I'm looking at him, what the fuck are you doing? And he never said a word, but this look on his face, it was like, I don't know what that look was. Some people say, well, he was possessed. It was demonic. I don't know what the fuck it was, and I don't give a damn either. I got that motherfucker out of my car. I reached over and locked that door. I drove off, and that was the last day I saw his ass. That was it for me. Because, like, you ain't got, I worked hard for this shit. You are not going, yeah, that's what they call it, carports. You are not going to, tear up my car. And knowing he didn't have no money to pay for it, and even if you have good insurance, you still have a deductible. And it was a brand new car, so even if they pay out on the car, it's not going to be worth what the value, what you in debt for. No, I decided it was better for me to dump him than to worry about my car. And then not too long after that, my car got stolen. So, I still always thought he had something to do with it. But the insurance company paid off on it. I got a different one, and that was that. But I'm telling you, yeah, just a jealous ass bitch man. And I was like, oh my God, how in the world did I get hooked up with him? But see, that's what happens when you be a youngster. You don't know no better. I know better now. And that's why I be trying to tell you guys so that the young women around here don't make the same mistakes in judgment and by not knowing that we all made. They don't need to make the same mistakes. They can go make some different ones at least. If you got to make one, make a new one. All right. So let's talk about this subject because I went out all over the internet. And I'm looking at people's notes, and I found this thing. Where is this one? It's written by this doctor. Oh, here it is. Dr. Mark Steinberg. Excuse me. He's here in California, down in the San Jose area. And he says that, emotions are a vital part of life. That's very true. That emotions are powerful. That's very true. That they allow us to bond, to experience compassion, empathy, joy, happiness, all of that. And when you're properly regulated and integrated with cognitive functions like reasoning, analysis, planning, and logic, the brain functions flexibly and with expanded capabilities for self-care, productivity, prudence, and solid good relationships. Okay. But then when you start focusing too much on your emotions, your response changes from being intellectual and balanced with reason and logic to being visceral. So your gut reaction, that's where that phrase comes from. Your gut reaction, your gut response, that's what visceral means, will bypasses all those emotions and stuff. You go through life based on what you feel. Now, this is dangerous for a couple of reasons. One is you will make stupid ass decisions because you think that the situation is going to make you feel good. Okay, then you got to deal with all the repercussions of your feel good later. That's how come a lot of women have 3, 4, 5 kids and all these different baby daddies and all this other shit. You was with the nigga and it felt good to be with the nigga, so the next thing you know, you want to have a baby by the nigga thinking you're going to be doing something sensible, and then he's like, oh no, I'm out, and then you sitting there stuck with a baby. Okay, see, this is how, but see, it felt good, and that's why you put yourself in that situation. Now, another thing that happens is you, by focusing on how you feel and not thinking, you will tend to repeat emotional patterns. That's not a bad thing as long as it brings you something positive out of it, right? So, I don't know, you're a comedian and you tell jokes and you make a lot of money. You become Richard Pryor, you make movies like Eddie Murphy, you do all this stuff, right? Okay, so that feeling of good, it brought you benefits. What happens though is a lot of people get stuck. Now, when you look at drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all this stuff, these are all escapist behaviors, right? People smoking weed, they doing drugs, they snorting whatever, they shooting up stuff, they doing all this stuff. They are addicted to television, to alcohol, whatever. What they're doing is zoning out. What they're doing is numbing themselves. So if you have someone who's got that kind of addiction, it's very easy to see how those people will become addicted to negative emotions, because it's at least that way, in spite of all their numbing, at least that way they get to feel something. Have you ever thought about that? It's kind of weird and bizarre, but it's very true. That's how it works. You want to feel something. That's why some of those people you heard about, people who do cutting, right? They're numb. They have numbed themselves because of whatever it is that's bothering them. A lot of times it's child abuse, some other kind of, they're bullied, whatever. They're having some kind of emotional pain. So they numb it, right? So they can just get through. But then, you still want to feel something. I mean, it's normal for humans to feel emotions. So they'll do stuff like cut. It's very interesting when you look at how the human mind works. Very interesting. Okay, so let's see what this guy says. In case of emotional addiction, you become hooked either on feeling a familiar way or on responding in an automatic way to the powerful pull of innate emotions. Emotional addicts pay heavily for their lives, though not in dollars, to a dealer. The cost is imprinted negatively scripted behaviors and your perception of these events. And then he's talking, he's just going into all this shrink talk. I should have read this before. I hate it when people use all these big words and I have to sit here and translate for you guys. Toss that. Let's move on to some other. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you some stories. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to share some stuff that some women said about their problems with this, being addicted to struggle and misery and pain. Okay, this one lady, Angela. After an entire lifetime of being in emotional pain, diagnosed in a number of ways, I have never heard of this term. She's talking about, being addicted to pain. After all these years of dealing with pain, this addictive quality of pain has never been brought up by a mental health worker or in anything I've ever read. So, of course, I have to ask the question myself. The closest I have come to knowing about this condition is cutting. Oh, here you go. I'm a cutter, at least I was in my youth. I've been a biter of nails ever since. I don't just bite my nails. I rip the cuticle down to my top digit. It bleeds. It hurts. I've always accepted that I do this because of what other cutters say. I just want to feel something. Ooh, honey. And then Sherry says, this pain is not in my body. I feel it in my mind and my soul, and I need it. I wonder what she needs it for. Delilah, it began from my disappointment. Disappointment caused by a broken heart. Disappointment from my lovers, from my family, from my friends, from myself, even from God. That disappointing feeling sometimes comes with negative memories. It's repeatedly in my mind, and I bring along the pain. That sensation when your heart feels like you've been stabbed or hurt. And all of those things mixed together and growing becomes self-hatred. Why can't I be grateful with everything that I have? Why can't I have a strong emotional bond? What a weak human being I am. To avoid this self-hatred, I come to think of strengthening my soul. And at this point, the slogan of no pain, no gain becomes a double-edged sword. I try to smile when the pain comes, laugh in my mind when the negative memories struck like a truck. Something like, come to me, you piece of shit, or I'm not afraid, you bastard. I'm doing this for a long time, and somehow that negative memories and the sensation that comes along with the pain comforts me. That's how I'm loving my negative memories. Even now, even that negative memories never come to my head again. Sometimes I try to ignite those memories to make me feel the pain again. See, I just don't get that. I don't get that. And it's like, when women, I get a lot of letters to the advice column, right? Women in these relationships with the men beat their ass. He cheated on them. He took their money. They said all kinds of horrible things to him, all kind of stuff, right? Why do they get away from the dude and then end up going back to him? Now, I know they have this thing, what they call it, that the battered woman syndrome and stuff like that. And I suppose that has some reality, but a lot of it is still connected to you being addicted to pain. You keep wanting to feel the pain. You make excuses to yourself why you should go back and why it's not that bad. And you just overreacted and he didn't mean it. You do all kinds of like jumping around through hoops and flip-flops to make yourself believe that feeling that pain is okay. No matter what you say, how you try to position it, that's what you're doing. You're trying to convince yourself that being in that position and feeling that hurt and dealing with that struggle and dealing with that abuse is something that you need to do because then at least you get to feel something. Yeah, they do. They need some serious therapy. I'm so serious. I mean, yeah, that's true. They get with another dude just like him. I mean, slightly different. I mean, the abuse style may be different. What he does may be different. But the pain that he causes them, the negative emotions that they feel are the same. That's the part that is the same. I don't know. Just like even something as little as, think about the young lady that did the video thing the other day, right? On Tell It Tuesday. She was talking about how the guy that she was dating was very nice. I mean, he's nice, he's, respectful, all the things that you look for. But the problem is he didn't really have good social skills and he didn't know how to date. He was awkward and she found herself having to take the lead and guide him and suggest things and tell him things and do the caretaking role, and she was starting to have negative emotions about it. Now, see, I'm glad she recognized that, and so she wanted to know what she should do and should she break up with the relationship. And everyone here voted, oh, yep, deuces, dude. But just think about how many women talk themselves out of it or allow other people to talk them out of a relationship that's already started off as being unfulfilling for her. You see what I mean? She was hurting. That's why she wrote the letter. She's saying, I feel like I'm turning into his mother. I feel sad. She said that in the video. So if you're feeling sad because you feel like you have to mother some grown man and, guide him on how to date and all this kind of stuff, that's a downhill. You're going straight downhill. But there's so many women who would stay in a situation like that because, well, he's a good man. And, ain't no man perfect. And they'll let men talk them into that too. They do rather feel pain than empty. That's what I was saying. They would, when you dull yourself, when you numb yourself with alcohol, with drugs, with pills, whatever you doing, sexual activity, whatever it is, something that's outside of yourself that you use to distract yourself from what you think and what you feel. You also use to distract yourself from doing the work that you need to feel better. Okay, that's another component that I didn't really talk about yet. So when you have someone who's doing that, and you're numb. You're numb. You want to keep the pain out, but what you also keep out is the joy and happiness. I mean, a brick wall is not going to let just certain things in, right? The brick wall is there. Everything's on the other side of the wall. Everything. So then these people are just there with not feeling anything at all. They want to feel something because that's human nature to feel something. It's human nature. What kind of psychologist am I? I'm not one. I studied it for many years though. But you know what happens? You have to go and you have to get a master's degree in something, and then you have to do like, to go for the PhD, if you want to be called doctor. And then you have to be taking a license, and you have to get a test. You take the test and you have a license. And then once you have a license, you're regulated by what you can do and what you can say to people and how you can say it. And then I thought about it. This provides me, I can use my knowledge, but I'm not limited to what I say, nor am I limited to how I say it. So I chose this as the best option. This is the best option for me. Plus, I never needed to be, doctor so-and-so anyway. But it's too much fucking work. Deb is lazy. I have a secret lazy side. But, yeah, that's what we wanted. That's why I decided to do it this way. Yeah, people be stingy with the follows and the likes. It's terrible. Did you see my video, my interview this morning? I did an interview with this little guy, and he's in Australia. He had the cutest accent. And it's up on the community wall, the link to it. She told you that she'll take her pain over lonely or nothing at all. Wow, she said that? Whoa. Thank you, Alexis. I think so too. And I think I have the best, I think this is the best avenue for me to share all that and reach people. Because once I'm going to tell you, once you get a state license and all that, man, you are just locked in a box. You can't, that's why though, Crystal, because they have so many rules. There's so many rules about the stuff that they can say to you. They can't sit up there and say, what the fuck are you doing? Like I can. But I'm talking to sisters, right? And sisters know what that means. And instead of y'all getting upset, you laugh because you know exactly where I'm coming from and you know what I'm talking about. But if I said something like to that in a professional capacity, but man, they would have I'd be paying fines and my license would be up for grabs. So I'm telling you, that little thought bubble came up and I was like, maybe we won't do that. Yeah. Well, he was all right. It was a very short interview. I think, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes or something like that. It wasn't, but it was interesting to be interviewed and talk about my past and all of that. Yeah, honey, I'm not trying to be limited. That's why me and Facebook don't get along so well, because they try to be limiting me over there. That's why they be putting my ass in jail all the time. YouTube is the only place where I can be free to be me. I like that. I wish I could have a TV show like on what's that, a radio show or something, but this is good. I'll stick with this. So why do people like drama? Why do people like drama in their lives? This guy says that some people want other people to feel sorry for them rather than to have the strength or ability to overcome adversity and be admired for that. And that stood out for me, right? Because I'm looking at that. I was like, wow, that is so true. Because think about how many people, like, you start talking to them, right? Oops. You start dropping my paper and they change the slide. You start talking to them, right? And you're talking about some problem that you have, right? Or something that happened to you. They can't be supportive of that. What they want to do is one up you. So it's like, okay, well, I was born in the ghetto, and we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was 16 people in the apartment, and we had to sleep on the floor. So here they go. Well, at least you had an apartment. We just lived in a box in the park. So it's like, no matter what you say, their situation is going to be worse because they're going after the sympathy vote. They want you to feel sorry for them. They get to feel something from having the worst story, being the worst off, being the brokest, the poorest. This is what brothers do all the time, right? They be sitting around talking about, the white men won't let a brother do this and that. You black women, you feminists, you just emasculate, yeah, yeah. So what they're trying to do is, get you to feel sorry for them so that they can feel something too because of the same situation. Oh my God. Yeah, Firestar. I hope she did too, because otherwise, man, she was going to be in a world of trouble. That Firestar's comment was about the video I made about the young lady. It's the one with the two eyes on it, about recognizing people, what you see, and understanding what the problems you're about to get yourself in. That's what she's talking about. All right. So then he says, like for instance, some people like to get, to have like fake illnesses, right? Or they have a loved one get sick for medical attention or attention of their family or money on the internet, right? They talk about all the horrible things that's getting had to happen, or how they're about to get evicted and all this kind of stuff. So they want to get money, they want to get attention, they want to have everybody say, "Oh my God!" It's like, if something happened to you horrible, why would you put it on the internet? Except that you want attention. You want other people to feel something on your behalf. Otherwise, what can they do? They're on the internet. They can't hug you. They can't, cry with you. What is the point of that? I never understood that, but whatever. Some people are, all caught up and they have a sibling who got more attention from the parents because they were sickly or, special needs, or they acted out, or they had some other issue. So these people learn to be helpless and act hopeless because they want to get some of that attention too. So it's like negative attention is better than no attention. Negative emotions are better than no emotions. That's what we're dealing with here. People who don't understand. I don't know what's wrong with them. I try to understand people, to tell you the truth. I really do try to understand. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you, but I try to understand where you're coming from. This particular thing, I understand it in an intellectual sense, like I understand that there's stars and the moon and rain and all this kind of stuff. I understand the reality of the situation. What I do not understand is why someone would make a conscious choice to be miserable, because that's what it is. Certain things happen to you, but like I keep saying, the only thing that you control in this whole world is how you react to things, how you respond, what you do in the face of adversity. How do you handle yourself? Do you take the lemons or do you make lemonade? I know that's a trite phrase, but the analogy still applies. And so many people might have lemonade, but they're going to pour the sugar out and say add more water and just muck it up and make it watery and nasty, and then they'll feel good about it. I don't know. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. So then he goes on. Okay, he says there's a couple of explanations in his mind for this addiction to unhappiness, because they don't want to change. They want to stay miserable. It's like you have a friend, like we were talking about the other day, somebody asked, well, is it wrong if you have a friend who's, in a bad situation, to like cut ties with them? And I said, absolutely no. This was in the Tell It Tuesday video just from this week. I said, oh, absolutely not. That's a perfect thing, because you have the right to not have your mind polluted by their sickness. They want to be miserable. They want to be unhappy. They want to relive this pain over and over and over. Oh, girl, do you over there though? Don't bring that over to me. You ain't getting my car with it. I'm not gonna meet up with you for lunch and you have it. You ain't coming to my house with it. I'm not going to your house because it's there. None of that. We just gonna let you be over there dealing with that shit, and I'm gonna be over here being happy because you just miserable. I don't want to be around miserable people. So this guy says, yes, oh my God, Kinu Goddess honey, you ain't never said more truthful words. Y'all don't know how much I get cussed out by people. They don't like what I say when I say stuff, real straight up. They're like, well, you could have been nicer about it. You didn't have to say it like that. You shouldn't have cussed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, What's wrong with you? What world do you live in where there's like fairies and angel dust everywhere and flowers and violins playing and harps and shit? I mean, this is the real world. Get over it. Grow up, put your big girl panties on, and let's go. But they want everything sugar coated and made all gentle and all this stuff. See, that's that, the trophy participation trophy generation. They want everything to look good and feel good. I'm like, you in the wrong spot if that's what you want. You ain't gonna find that here. Yeah, they watching Disney and they want me to be like, no, not gonna happen, girlfriend. Okay, so where did I see? I got so distracted I forgot what I was doing. Okay, so he says there are a number of possible explanations for this addiction to unhappiness. Hold on, let me drink some of my LaCroix. Yeah, they get in their feelings. Okay, he says deep rooted rather, insecurity or lack of self esteem may cause some people to feel, excuse me, undeserving of happiness. Now, that's not what I see. Okay, people who grew up with a parenting style characterized by excessive discipline and unrealistic expectations may have learned to equate unhappiness with love and success. How? If you know that that was hurtful to you and it was mean, why would you say that that was love and success? Wrong. Okay, lifelong struggles with trauma or other negative experiences may fuel an unconscious desire to continually return to the status quo of misery. And bingo! I think that's the most brilliant thing that he said. Some people who seem comfortable in their misery actually may be suffering from an underlying mental health disorder. Well, duh. Some people pride themselves on realism, believing that being practical or realistic also means focusing on the negative. That is kind of true. But I'm like, that's true, because those are the people, okay, like, okay, say you come to somebody, you come to somebody and you have a dream. Okay, like me, it's like, oh, I have a dream. I'm going to start doing live streams. I'm going to just come up, this is going to be great because, from Blog Talk to YouTube, now I can actually see the people and they can see my expressions and, we can laugh together. We can do this. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. You don't know nothing about YouTube. What do you know about videos? You don't know nothing about editing videos. Live stream, that raggedy ass computer you have won't live stream anything. It's gonna be a hot mess. And what did you haven't been on TV in so long, you probably forgot everything that you need to do to be on camera. Okay, I heard these things. I'm telling you, I'm repeating some of the stuff that I heard. Now, did it stop me? If anything, it made me do this. Okay, because all that does is give me the energy to make all my haters eat my dust. That's what I do. I don't get caught up in negativity. I use that as a springboard to make my dreams come true even faster. Okay? Yeah, I'm not, we don't go down that path. So, you got this situation where what he said that, they want to be considered being practical or realistic is focusing on the negative. That's very true. That's what they do. Oh, let me tell you another example. See, we're going back to my story time. Okay. Back in the day, I was working out, and this is even before I became a trainer. And I was working out at what was Bally's. I don't know if Bally's is still around, but I met this guy. I mean, honey, I was buff. I have to find a picture of me at one point with that. I had my shoulders. It was just ridiculous, just ripped. And so I met this guy, right, who was a Puerto Rican dude, fine, just really nice looking guy. Very nice, very, want to take you out places and do nice things. He was cool. A little aggressive though, with the physical stuff. So I had to kind of back him up. But after he understood what was going on, he, slowed his roll. But let me tell you what happened and why I dumped him. Okay, so Bally had this contest. I think it was a 12-week or 8-week, some number of weeks where you were supposed to, everybody got weighed and measured, body fat tested and stuff at the beginning. They had different age groups and it was divided by gender. And then everybody was in this competition for money and other prizes and stuff. And if you know who made the most change, who lost the most body fat, the most weight, whatever. So they were keeping all these metrics. And so I'm in the contest, right? Now, like this guy had told me that he was a professional bodybuilder. He competed in Puerto Rico on stage and won some trophies. Okay, this is what he told me. He showed me the pictures. I'm so okay, this shit is true. So then I'm telling him, right, about me being in this contest and everything. And it was 12 weeks, and it was like the first day I was so excited, because it's like I'm going to really concentrate, I'm going to work really hard and everything. But let me tell you what this fool did to see why it cost him a relationship with me. I'm sitting there telling him this, and his face was just straight. No, nothing like, oh, that's great. You're going to do well. I can help you. I can show you some stuff, the shed that I used to use when I was going for, for a show, my shedding techniques, this and that, blah, 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 blah. That's what I was looking for him to say. That's what I expected to hear from somebody who's trying to be my man and who has the background and the experience to help me be a success in something that I'm trying to do. You feeling me? So I tell him this, and let me tell you what that fool said. Oh, with this straight face. Well, you better be prepared for the fact that you probably won't win. That's what he told me. And I told you, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm cold as ice. I just, he was cute. Nice body, everything, all of that was good. But in that moment, a switch flipped. And I could not stand him anymore. And we was in this restaurant bar thing in Oakland on Grand Avenue. And I forgot the name of it. I went there a couple of times. And they had like bleacher type seats on the side. And then they had the bar area, the dance area in the back. I think pool tables or something back there. And we were sitting in this bleacher area. I got up and I said, well, I need to go. Yeah, I need to go now. He's like, why? You just haven't been here that long. You just got here. I'm like, yeah, but I'm really tired. I'm going to go. Okay, so when I got to my car, exactly, lady boss. Look at her. She done got fancy now. She mixing the X's with letters. Well, now, I got to my car, and this is something that I do when I don't want to talk to nobody. I changed their name from their name to do not answer. And it's do not answer 1 through, at the time I had about 90 different numbers. Because you can't have the same one. You have to have different, so it was do not answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I didn't care who it was. All I would know is when that popped up on the screen and said do not answer, I would follow the command and not answer it. So he became do not answer. Do you know this fool was sending me, he tried to send me a fax. So he had my business card. And he sent me a fax, saying what's wrong, what did I do wrong, this and that. This was me. And then he could go on your fax thing and say that this number that the fax came from is a spam number and to block it. That's what I did. So I blocked that motherfucker from every calling me again. Nope, I didn't chew him out. I didn't say anything. I just got up and I walked out. I ghosted him like that. When I left that club, that was the last time I saw him and the very last time I talked to him. Because like, you are not going to rain on my parade. You had a choice here. Remember I said the other day how in life you're presented with doors, right? And each door that you choose, each path that you take, each choice that you make is going to take you in a different direction. Now this man was crazy about me. He was like, imagine, talking all kind of stuff about, the future and all this old stuff. And I could tell, you could just tell how people look at you. You know what I mean? We know how they touch you, and they're just like, they touch you like you're so precious. And he was into me, I could tell. However, with that one sentence, he destroyed any chance he had to ever be with me. You either gonna be on my team or you out. I don't need nobody where I'm going to have to struggle along and try to figure this shit out by myself. And your ass is sitting up there with years and years of experience and some fucking trophies to boot. And you not going to help me? No, I don't need you, clown. And this is what when women say, I don't need you, that's the kind of stuff they mean. They're going to do it by themselves without you. Yeah, honey, you right. I probably got medals somewhere about ghosting folks. Because I will ghost your ass in a heartbeat. So that's what happened, and that's what happened to him. So, you know that, so in his mind he was probably being practical, like it says here, practical and realistic, but what he was doing was focus on the negative. So my high of possibilities and the joy that I had of just competing, because of course I knew I might not win, you know what I mean, we all know that, but did I need you to say that in a moment when I'm excited and I'm talking about something positively, and you have the opportunity to help my excitement grow bigger and make major points to with this woman that you tried so hard to get with? This was your opportunity, nigga. You fucked it up. So I was like, wow, you're dumb. Okay, so then so he says also, because of decisions or experiences in their past, some people are consumed by guilt or regret that they cannot overcome. Instead, they choose to punish themselves and or others. Well, they don't do that in the black community, so I don't know who does that. You know, I'm still waiting for a nigga to experience some guilt and regret that he cannot overcome. Please. They don't choose to punish themselves or others. They just keep repeating the same negative shit because they love it. And he says some people are afraid to feel joy since positive feelings might be a setup for disappointment. Now, that's true. But these are the same people, that, you know, the negative Nancy's, I call them, that, you know, they keep, as they say, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, they can't like enjoy a relationship. They can't even enjoy a good date because they're always looking around the corner for something that they think is going to happen that's bad. And they want to prepare themselves. So they don't want to be too happy. They don't want to get too excited. They don't want to, you know, put too much joy or effort into anything because they feel like, you know, somebody's going to come along and yank the rug out from under them. Oh my God, I can't stand people like that. It's like, can you just relax and just enjoy your life? So when we talk about these women, they want to be miserable when stuff is too good. Do you think that might be behind why some men will cheat and mess up a relationship? The woman treats them well. The woman, you know, she's doing all this stuff. She's loving the dude. Everything's good. And then he goes out and does something to fuck it all up. What do you think? I think a lot of it is this. These are dudes that are addicted to struggle, misery, and pain. Because when it's too good, they feel uncomfortable. When a woman is too nice, they feel uncomfortable. They don't know what to do with that. So they create some bullshit in order to be stress and strife and fighting and whatnot. I don't know. I don't understand it personally. I can't be around people like that. This whole conversation is about what people I don't understand. So that's right. It does become a self-fulfilling prophecy because don't nobody want to be bothered with that shit. Others prefer to play. So this was, he has a section. Now this is the part that I thought was, this is why I printed this out, because this is the only part of this whole article that I liked. Characteristics of the chronically unhappy. In other words, people who are miserable as fuck. And this is what they're like. That's what he should say. But he used big words. How do you know if you're one of these people that lives in a perpetual state of unhappiness, aka you're a miserable fuck? People who are addicted to unhappiness tend to, find reasons to be miserable when life gets, quote, too good. Well, I just kind of addressed that. Number 2, prefer to play victim and blame others rather than take personal responsibility for their choices. Now, we see this a lot. I know I was going to talk about women, but I can't help it because right now this applies to every single one of the MGTOW men who have ever come across. They want to blame women. Black men want to blame women. These are guys who love to be miserable. They're chronically unhappy people. And instead of taking personal responsibility and being accountable for the decisions and the choices that they have made that brought them through the door, remember the 3 doors I keep saying? There's doors there. They chose a door that took them down a path of aloneness and misery. Now, when they did it, why they did it, how they did it, that I don't know, because I don't know all the history and I ain't trying to find out. But here you are, you know you made a wrong turn. Now, what you gonna do? Instead of saying, well, you know, it's those women's fault. No, you went through the wrong door, Holmes. That was your choice. You was on let's make a deal and you fucked up and you picked the wrong door. Okay, so now you're fucked and you're trying to blame other people for your fucked state. And it's nobody's fault for yours because you chose that. Okay, you did that to yourself. but they don't want to admit that. And so that's why, even as far as like they choosing to go bear up in a woman, right? And then now they got 18 years of child support. Now they mad. She made me. She trapped me. No, your dick did that to you. You and your dick was homeboys and partners in crime, and now you in a shit situation, and that's your fault. So, this is just really interesting. And the same boyfriend I'm telling you about, I saw so much weird stuff with him, but I was really young, and so, it wasn't like I had been dating a whole bunch of different people. But dude, man, one time, okay, when you're in college, if you're a pretty good student, you're pretty smart, you don't really have to study that hard. You study enough to pass the test, you memorize some shit, and then you go on to the next thing. Well, that was me. So I'd be fucking around. I'd write my papers and stuff because I love writing. But as far as, study and stuff, I study for the test, pass the test, and then fuck off the rest of the time. It's time for the next test. That's what I did. I will admit it. That was terrible. But at least when it was like midterms and finals and shit, Deborah would study. Okay, I would review everybody's notes. I'd borrow notes and stuff for the classes that I cut, and then I would, study the stuff up, and I'd be like ready. Okay, so I go and I take my final, I get an A. He is mad as hell because he's like, you half went to class. How can you get an A? I'm like, because I'm thinking because I'm smarter than you, but I didn't say that. So he was in the same class with a different professor. We were taking the same class, but he had a different professor. And he, fucked around and didn't study. And he got a D. And so he was mad. Okay, like I said, I did study. I did fuck around during the whole semester, but I studied for the midterm and I studied for the final. And he didn't. So he got a D. And so he's blaming the professor, and then he was mad at me, like I did something to him to make him fail his final and get a bad grade on his in the class. I'm like, shit. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, he was something else. I don't know why we even lasted as long as we did. I think about that now. It's like, damn, that's what happens when you're young. You're just dumb and do stupid shit. Okay, so then he says, people who are chronically unhappy compete with friends and colleagues to see who has it the hardest. Oh, I talked about that a little earlier. Have difficulty setting and achieving goals, or conversely, achieve goals only to find that they can't enjoy their success. Those are people who self-sabotage. Okay, for example, someone gets, they go through school and they get a great job, and then they get caught stealing money from the company, get kicked out from the company, and have to go to court, and they can't get hired in that field anymore, and it's just a downhill slope. Okay, that kind of thing. I remember I had a cousin who got, his family wasn't rich, and they had like 5 or 6 kids. And he got a full scholarship to San Jose State for 4 years. He was going to be the first one in his family to graduate from college. Let me tell you, he was a freshman. This nigga went down to college and fucked away. Just smoked weed and did just stupid stuff and sabotaged himself so that he got kicked out of the school, lost the scholarship, and went back home in disgrace. But it was like he was looking for that to happen because he did everything he could to make sure that it did. And it's like the thought of success scared him. He didn't want to be successful. A lot of people say it's too much responsibility because then when you get successful, then people expect you to do more and be better. And so they just want to stay at the bottom because it's easier. So I saw that with my own eyes. I was about, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. And, he was also, 18, 19, something like that. And that was what happened. Wait, what happened? Who's talking about calling the police? I watched a court case where this man sued his mistress for getting him caught up and causing his wife to file for divorce. What? Yeah, San Jose State was a good school. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. Okay, another thing he says, they struggle to bounce back when things don't go their way. These are the people who get stuck in failure. I'm sure you've known some of that. You may have done that to yourself a couple of times. Okay, so something happens, right? You were trying for something, it didn't happen, and then you then you go and you just wallow in the pain of the failure. You don't do anything about getting back on your feet. You don't say, okay, well, that's now I know that won't work. Let me try something else. You stay stuck in, the fact that you failed at something and go all the way downhill. Who's looking for oh, is this somebody that I need to boot out? Is that what you're telling me? How do I do this? Oh, I think I have to go on to YouTube. Hold on. Ugh. It's always got to be one who. No, well, I don't know. It shows that he's from YouTube, so. But you know, this could be one of the MGTOW folks. Uh, I just don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know what's happening. Oops. Hold on, you guys. I'm over here clicking in the wrong stuff, stupid, like a dummy. I okay, yeah, I put him on a timeout, but that's just for a little bit, a minute or two or something. But yes, he can be blocked. That's fine. I'm down with that. I don't think that was. I don't know if it was or not, but you know, people get confused about where they are. All right, he's being annoying. I love that word. You know how many times I've been called annoying? I just my big brother's just like you're just an annoying little brat. Okay, so distract, escape, or cope by using drugs, alcohol, sex, food, or other addictive or compulsive behaviors. Stop taking care of their basic needs, such as a healthy diet, regular exercise, and adequate sleep. It's like this, okay? I remember this woman, and she was really overweight, right? And she was like, "Oh, you know, I need to lose weight." I went shopping with her, and she couldn't fit anything. I mean, it's just she was just really upset that all the clothes was too tight. She was too big, and she was mad. Okay, so then, okay, I'm looking for her to say, "Wow, you know, this is really. I didn't realize I'd gotten this big. I need to do something about this. You know, I'm gonna go over here and buy me some walking shoes, and you know, we're gonna start changing this shit today." Okay, that's not what happened. You know what happened? We get in her car. She drives to this burrito shop. She gets a super burrito with extra sour cream, extra cheese, and extra guacamole. This thing was about the size of somebody's infant's head. And she proceeded to eat that whole thing. Now, it must have been at least 3 or 4 thousand calories up in that bad boy. I just could not believe it. I just felt sick just looking at it. But that was her response to her misery. And then, of course, after that, she was even more miserable. Oh, why did I eat that? Why did I do that? And I'm sitting there looking at her like, okay, but you drove across town to get to this place. I mean, that's what you wanted to do. You could have stopped anywhere on the path there and made a U-turn and went into the salad bar place or just went home. You know, you didn't have to go to the burrito place. And even if you did, you didn't have to get to super burrito with all the extra shit on it. So I'm like looking at her like this series of decisions that you made that are just going to make you more miserable and increase the pain that you feel about being overweight. And this is the same kind of issue I see with women, like I said, men too, but we're talking about women today, who choose things and do things that make themselves have more struggle and feel more miserable and have more pain. So I'm sure she put on two pounds or so just eating that one thing. So then she's gonna get on the scale the next day and be heavier than she was before. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that to yourself? I don't know. I don't get it. Oh, yeah, we don't have any 14-year-olds around here. The youngest one I know about, a super wet, but no, it wasn't wet on the outside. It was on the inside. I know well, I don't know. Here, that's what they call. They put like the enchilada sauce or something on it, so it is wet on the outside. I don't know. I think she was feeling some kind of pain, and she was using the food to make herself feel better. But of course, like I said, it didn't. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm telling you, I was kind of hungry when we went there, but once I saw that, I was like, oh no. Stop bending your elbows. You know what? I'm not talking to you anymore. Okay, so then what he says is happiness is a choice. If that's a choice, then why aren't more people happy? That's a good question. What do you guys think? What is it that makes people want to be miserable? They want to be miserable. They choose things to do that will make themselves unhappy. Why? What is wrong with you people? I mean, people need to think about it. You know, that's what I like to do is say, okay, this is what you're doing. This is what I point out what you're doing. And then I ask you to figure out from yourself. You got to do your own homework. Why are you doing that? What is motivating you to make that choice and choose that behavior pattern? How is that helping you to achieve the goals that you claim to have? Where is that making stuff, be a better situation for you? I don't understand it. So this guy, he says in his experience, happiness is complicated. Is it? Some people find happiness in situations that would change the most optimistic person. Some are unhappy despite having it all. That's true. I remember when they first started the lottery in California, I was a kid. They started this lottery and they said, oh, it's going to help schools, this and that, right? And so they used to show the people who won on TV. I don't know if they still do because I don't watch TV anymore, so I don't know if they do or not. But they used to show the people who won on TV. They would do interviews with them because it was a new thing. California never had a lottery before, and these people were winning like millions of dollars. They kept showing these couples, right, who said that the money made them miserable. And I'm sitting there looking at that with a very curious expression on my face. I know I looked at them like Scooby-Doo, like, like, what do you mean? And they were saying, like, because their friends, were jealous and, or people was always asking them for money. And then people, didn't want to be friends with them anymore because they, quote, thought that they were better than them now, that they had this money and all this stuff. And they said, all it did was make them miserable. It changed their life too much and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. How is it that the money made you miserable? It's not the money that made you miserable. It's your attitude about the money that made you miserable. It's your attitude about your friends' shock and surprise. Of course, people are going to be shocked and surprised. Of course, people who are struggling are going to think that since you have millions now that you can help them out. That's a normal thing for someone who's been your friend for 10 or 15, 20 years. People are going to somewhat have that little expectation. Now, you won $20 million. Is it going to kill you to give them $100,000? Make sure they understand it's one-time deal, and then you send them on their way. But, to have millions and millions of dollars, you $20, $30 million, and you don't give your friends nothing, and then you complain that they're, kind of resentful of you. I mean, what do you expect? And then, you have kids, right? Why can't you put the money in a trust? You got grandkids. Put the money in a trust for them so they can have a nice future. Buy themselves a home, have nice wedding presents, and pay their way through college. Why can't you start a nonprofit? Why can't you donate to some community-based organizations in your area? Why can't you help out at some schools? Why can't you build something like a park in the neighborhood so the kids can have a safe place to go and play that's not all full of needles and dog poop and stuff like that? Why can't you think outside of yourself to do something that would better mankind? Why do you sit there on television miserable as fuck because you got $30 million in the bank and now you claim that you're miserable because you had this money? That money is a tool for you to bring joy to thousands of people that you would have never had the opportunity to even meet, let alone do something nice for. But see, they don't have that kind of mentality. And so that's what this person is saying. If you have the attitude where you want to be miserable, you choose to be miserable versus choosing a way to a path of happiness, well, that's you. How can you have all that money? Now, no matter, and these people would always be old. Okay, so they like in their 60s, 70s, 80s, just winning all this damn money. Okay, when you can't will it to nobody, so once you die, the payments stop. That's why it's always better to get if you owe, get your money at one time. Don't do that 20-year payout shit. Now, give me a check. And I just couldn't. I still can't wrap my mind around it. Man, let me get my hands on some billions like that and watch what great, grand, and wonderful things my black ass does with it. But I don't know. It was just really weird. And so then he says, it's true that happiness is a choice. But some people, they don't know how to define happiness. So the issue is, how do you define it? Is it by outward success, inner satisfaction, or is there something else? What makes you feel happy? And do you know that if you ask that question, and this is something you guys can go out and try and see, a lot of people won't know. Or they'll say something stupid like, well, my kids. Okay, but what about your children? I mean, be more specific. Your kids will make you as miserable half the time because they're bad as hell. Everybody knows that. Can we be specific? And it's not, don't depend on what other people do, how it makes you happy in yourself. What about you makes you happy? Shoot, money can make my ass happy. I tell you. Because, like I said, money is a tool. Just like, food is fuel. Money is what's going to get you someplace. Food gets your body someplace. It's something that you use to do things to make this world a better place if you have it like that. Hoarding it and thinking, you just want to have more, 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 more in the bank, that's not doing anything. That's not going to do anything for you. But I don't know. I think y'all are confused. Money can definitely make me happy because I know what I would do with it, So my happiness, if you just try to hold on to it yourself, it won't bring you anything but agony. But if you use it as the gift that it was to gift other people, then money will make you happy. It's all in how you look at it. So, those trite phrases are really cute. I mean, everybody likes to say the same thing without really thinking about what it means. But money can definitely make you happy. Definitely can. But it all depends on your mindset. Now, he also says that for 20% of American adults, mental health disorders such as depression or anxiety may mean that happiness is always just out of reach. Though they do not choose to be depressed or anxious, they do not know another way of being. While choosing to be happy in these cases is more complicated than making a choice to think positively, there is one important choice that can be made: the decision to get help. Okay. I agree with that. I agree with that. And they also feel like, suffering and struggles are emotional addictions. Like I said at the top of the show, you get accustomed to that feeling, that angst, that tightness in your chest, that pulse of adrenaline, that rage, that sadness, the crying. I mean, this becomes your norm. This is your norm. And if you're not feeling like that, you feel out of sorts. You don't feel like yourself anymore. So people seek to create situations that will bring them that same feeling because that's their reward. That's what they want. That's what they're seeking out by everything that they're doing. It is very interesting when you really look at it and why women do this. But I challenge you guys. I challenge you to think about why you, and say this at every show, why you do the things that you do, why you make the choices you make. Think. Imagine yourself, I'm going to say this one more time for those that missed that video. You're on the stage of Let's Make a Deal. In front of you is door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. Each one of those doors has a different path behind it, a different prize at the end of the road. Which door do you take? Now, if you know there's certain doors that are going to be having some weird struggles connected with them, why would you choose that door? Why would you do that to yourself? You already know it's some bullshit behind door number 2. You already know it ain't nothing but some trickery and fuckery behind door number 3. But a lot of you will be like, well, door number 1, that might be too boring. I'm going to go over here because I need some excitement. I want to feel something. So they go pick door number 2 or door number 3. And then they go down them rocky paths of, just drama, trauma, and struggle. I'm not for it. I don't want it. Like I said, every time you do something, every time you get faced with a choice, you're choosing door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. For instance, you in bed with some nignog, right? He want to pull off the condom. Let's do bear. Let's do this. I got it under control. Everything. Okay, now here you are. You sitting there. You're like, if I choose door number 1, I could not only get pregnant, I could get some horrible disease from this food. If I choose door number 2, I could end up with a baby by some knucklehead fool. Then what I'm going to do, because then I'm going to be stuck And then, so the path is door number 3. Tell him no, get up, leave him alone, because we don't want to try to have his baby, and we ain't don't have no disease, and we don't want anything to do with that. And you choose door number 3 because door number 3 is the road to self-actualization, freedom, and self-fulfillment, keeping your money in your pocket and having your time to yourself, keeping your body healthy and doing what you want to do with your life. But so many women choose door number 1 and door number 2. Why do y'all do that? Why do you do that? So see, this is what I'm saying. This is the analogy I want to give, because that's how life is. Every fucking time you turn around, there's going to be 3 doors. Every time you get to make a choice, it's just going to be at least 3 doors in front of you. But I like 3 because 3 is a good number. There will be 3 choices in every moment of your, even it's like what you going to watch on TV. Of course, depending on how many channels you have, there could be way more than 3 choices. But you understand my point. You know, what 3 choices. There's always going to be 3 choices. So you got to think about that and pick one that's going to take you down the path to self-fulfillment. The single shaming. Okay, let's talk about that. That's a good way. Okay, so you feel like these people that you don't even know and don't give a fuck about, that ain't putting no money in your pocket and ain't paying your bills, have an opinion that counts. So that you need to change your life and suffer and be miserable and be in pain because you're trying to please them by not being single. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're doing. Yes, Nick Noggs. That is a very common phrase around here. Someone else can explain it. I defined it before long ago, but I don't feel like doing it again right now. But, you know, wow, see, that's what I mean, though, because, you know, you're letting someone else decide your life for you. How is that benefiting you? How is that helping you? You stay in a situation of struggle, misery, and pain in order to make someone else approve of you because you're not single. That makes not a lick of sense to me. Not a lick of sense. So that's what you're telling me. That's what y'all want to be doing. Okay. They shame you daily. Who is this they? You talking about knuckleheads online? Oh, they do the same shit to me. They not say, oh, you know what? Are you married? It's like, motherfucker, ain't nobody trying to be married to your trifling 2-bit piece of shit roach looking ass. You got to be, you talking crazy. I would rather be like living in a garbage heap than be married to you. Ugh. Yeah, you all times late. I don't know. I'm like, you know, I saw this man today. He just, ooh, god damn, he was dusty. I mean, seriously, dude was gray. He was so dusty. I was like, oh, you need a serious hosing. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, you can breathe. I'm telling you, there's all kind of stuff about being single that is a benefit to a woman. It gives you the time for self-development, to get into yourself, to do the things that you want to do. Do your yoga and meditation and, you know, go on retreats and shit and eat fruit for dinner or eat sandwiches for breakfast. I mean, whatever you want to do, you have the time to do it. If you want to paint every wall in your house pink, you can do that. I mean, whatever you want to do. It's just lovely being single. You know, appreciate the fact that you are and understand that when someone says something like that to try to put you down and get you in a situation where you feel like you're struggling and you're in agony and pain, they're trying to hurt you. There's no such thing as just being in a relationship just to be in one. If you're not in the right relationship, you shouldn't be there. Okay? Have the courage to step out of pain. You know, I know it's familiar, it's comfortable. You feel like, oh, I'm going to be alone, I'm going to this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you don't even think about the fact that if you're in a situation with someone, they're only there to hurt you, you're already alone. You're alone and you're suffering on top of it. At least that way you're just alone. You're not suffering. You got this motherfucker, you know, spending up your money, beating your ass, hurting your kids. You know, you living in the cold and the dark. They doing all kind of egregious shit, cheating on you, bringing home STDs and shit. All kind of drama going on with these women. And yet they stay and stay and stay and get more and more broken. Every time that man pulls a stunt, just more and more tears, more and more broken spirited. And then you sit there, you can't possibly think that I'm a co-sign on some shit like that. Like I'm gonna be like, yeah, girl, you should stay because it's better to be in a relationship than it is to be single. Any nignog or any dumb bitch that tells you some shit like that, you need to cuss them out. If you don't know how to do it, send them my way. I'll do it for you. I don't have no problem cussing people out. I love it, as a matter of fact. It's my favorite thing to do. I don't understand these people. Yeah, that's Ash Moniker. Exactly. They're gross. Yeah, don't pay any attention to them people. And the bottom, yeah, they say you got some cats. And I mean, you know what? They say the same dusty ass shit because their IQ is like 5. Okay, so if you have a very low IQ, you don't have an original thought in your head. Have you noticed that? They all regurgitate the exact same things that have been said and that we've heard at least 2,000 times just this week. So it's like, why get upset about that? You already heard it a million times before. It should just be like a mosquito buzzing by in your ear by now. They say the same shit. It's nothing unique, original, different, exciting that warrants even listening to. It's garbage. They just just mutterings of insane people. That's what it sounds like to me. They say the same shit over and over and over and over. Yeah, stealing your retirement money, running up your credit, your line of credit to help them start a business. I want to start a business. You need to help me start my business. Psh, nigga, you ain't got no business. You better get out there and collect them cans like every other Dusty. That's the Dusty National Anthem. I'm collecting cans. I'm a can collector. That's what you better be singing, nigga. Go. Get your green hefty bag and make the magic happen. Because they ain't going to be shit here for you. No. Nope. Nothing here. And then, we're also going to talk about somebody gave us a next week. We're going to talk, or maybe this weekend, because, I talk about different things on the weekend. And maybe this will be a good topic for the weekend. We're going to talk about hobosexuals. And I said that the other day. She was laughing their asses off. But I'm like, we need to talk about this because y'all be bringing these hobosexuals all up in your house over your kids and trying to, quote, make it work with these motherfuckers. Oh, my God. I got to get my daughter to draw me a picture like from that cartoon. And so I can put it on my thumbnail because, I just don't understand it. This thing got a pot to piss in and nothing. And y'all just be like, oh, but that's my man. That's my man. I'm like, that motherfucker can't even spell man. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Oh, it's just ugh. But, that's what I wanted to talk about and, kind of bring this to women's attention. Some of the stuff that y'all be doing that hurts not only yourself, but it hurts other women, and how you go out online looking for shit to get hurt over. You go and find the stuff. You do Google searches. You have like keyword searches and stuff, and you looking for stuff to so that you can collect it and just feel this knife of pain in your heart and rejection and agony and like you're less and nothing and nobody wants you. You just want to feel those things. You go find people to make you feel that way. You go find stories to make you feel that way. You find memes to make you feel that way. You go on the websites and the blogs and the YouTube channels of men who say those cruel, vicious things to you to make you feel that way. And yet you all over there in droves. They don't come here. They go over there. You go over there and see how many hundreds of thousands of followers those men have. The majority of them are women. And they're black women. And they're over there getting their feelings hurt on the fucking daily and supporting that kind of nonsense. And when you hear the toxic things that those men say, it just makes me shake my head. You guys want to be hurt, and those dudes oblige you by dogging you the fuck out every word they say. And here you are just all over their channels and spreading links to their shit and just doing the most. And I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I don't understand why you want to hurt yourself and then you want to take that pain that you feel and go and spread it to other sisters so that they are hurt too. That is some toxic shit, and you need to ask yourself why you do that, because that's really kind of fucked up. If you know these dudes, the reason why they're getting attention and you guys do the work of spreading their poison for them. All they have to see, this is how it works. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm a nignog. Okay, here I'm a nignog. Let's say the stapler is a nignog. This is the nignog. And he's typing on his computer. Okay, so he's typing, my lipstick is a computer. I'm typing. Okay, now I press send and then I go sit down. Okay, I go sit down because now I don't need to do nothing else. Now here comes two sisters, right? Oh, look at that post. Look at that. I'm going to share. So these four share. Okay, now all they followers and everybody sees it, right? And here's all these black women. Oh my God, it's so awful. Look at how they feel about us. They hate us. Okay, so then they go and spread. So this nigga, all he did was type one. He typed one post. And then he would have sat down. All the spreading of the poison, all the toxicity, all the hate, all the agony, all the pain. You guys did that to yourself because you shared it. You did that. So, you know, don't be mad at them. I mean, he's mad because, you know, he was stupid, sure. But you know what? That shit, that one little post that he made, that one little thing that he typed, then he went and said it would have stayed on his blog, on his wall there where nobody haven't seen it but him. But you four that saw it and went and posted it on your walls. And so now you got 825 and now you're posting. Okay, you guys did all the work of spreading his hate for him. And all he's doing is sitting back and laughing. You don't even understand how you get played. You play yourself. Oh, this is just too much for me. I don't understand it. But I do want to say that's my topic for today. And if you guys have any ideas for topics, or you want to submit your own advice question, you can check out the it's at survivingdating.com. Up at the top it says get advice. Just click that link and it'll take you to the submission form. That link is also at the top of the YouTube channel. It also says get advice there. I also put the link in each show description when I remember. But if you don't see it, just click around or whatever and you'll see a link in the show description of each show where you can also click a link and submit your advice question or a topic idea as well. So that's those are all the different ways that you can get in touch with me during the week. I will be back again on either Saturday or Sunday. We're going to talk about the hobosexuals. On Saturdays, I usually do Twitch, so probably on Sunday, we'll talk about hobosexuals and what that all means in the dating field. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. Thanks you guys for coming and sitting in with me. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.